It's a bull again. Good morning. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. I am a local precious metal dealer since 1977, second generation, doing rare coins, precious metals, antiques, jewelry, artwork, and watches and other things. But again, precious metals I've been doing a long time. I have a brick and mortar store here in Lauderdale by the Sea, just a couple blocks down from here. And hey, wonderful day out there, blue skies, the water looks really calm. I'm going to try to get some fishing in this weekend here, and it looks like we're going to have a nice long weekend too. Markets are closed next Monday with Memorial Day weekend, so Friday it's going to be a long weekend for all of us. Let's move into the subject of the day, which I was going to talk about. I'm not going to go too much into it. Actually, I'm going to keep it quite brief because there's so many YouTube videos and so many articles written about the global reset and what I'm saying here is, are we going to see a global reset in the terms that the World Council sees it, or whatever, the World Economic Council, and we'll get into that in a moment. No, but I do see reevaluations coming in the price of changes in assets, changes in what the dollar will buy. Lots of big reevaluations are going to happen here pretty soon. Let's talk about spot prices real quick. If you notice, I've been getting them done early instead of later in the show, because most of you are looking at spot prices before you even watch this show, and you probably got a little ticker up in your screen as I'm talking to you, watching it as well. Let's take a look at spot prices overnight, where they were yesterday, where they were today. The coin says a bull, and I got to tell you, I think this coin favors bulls. I got another coin here. Where'd it go? There it is, still brand new in the plastic bag. I may have to try that, but meanwhile, you know, we'll keep, I don't know, maybe I'm a bit superstitious here about switching the coins even. What do you think? Let me know in comments. But no less, we're down a couple bucks from last night. Looks like we've broken that $1,900 mark for all intents and purposes. I think we're there at $1,900. I can't see us, you know, if we get knocked down, it'll be a monkey hammer on Friday or sometime, but it won't last long. It'll be a bunch of paper gold being traded off for real gold. And that's my opinion, at least. So overnight, 1889, 1890, 1904. So again, we're there. We're at 1900. Let's not, I mean, it's like pretending you're not when it keeps popping. It's like a resistance level that's there but isn't really there. We've kind of busted it. We're going through it. When, I just don't know. Today, next week, sometime, maybe in 2 weeks from now, but we are going to bust through that 1900 here. Just, you know, for me to pick it exactly when, I can't tell you, but I feel it's not too far off in the future here. And then we could see it get busted up a little bit as well, which provides the opportunities to buy the friggin' dips. Silver 27.53, and what range we got there? 27.81. Currently at 27.68. It got monkey hammered pretty good yesterday. I think the coin was a bear too yesterday. So I don't know if I want to switch this thing up. It seems to land a lot of bulls, but it seems to be mostly correct a lot of times. So again, I'm not superstitious, but it is down a little bit here today, and platinum down a couple bucks too, 16 bucks. So it's like these levels, 1900 right now, 28, and 1200. Well, 1200 has been a level for platinum for months now, so I don't know what platinum's doing. It's kind of just staying in this range. It's been range bound for months. While silver's kind of been range bound as well. If you really think about it, the two white metals have been range bound, and the metal of kings, gold, has been moving upwards. 1893. So tough to say what's going on out here. So let's take a look at the ranges in platinum. 1172, 1200. Again, just range bound for the longest time. I still think platinum's a great buy. Once gold and silver start taking off, platinum will as well. And platinum does have industry uses too. Silver, meanwhile, just languishing in this mid-20s range. But, you know, people that are whining, oh, silver hasn't moved for months. You know, I've always said, if you're in gold and silver to get rich quick, then you're in the wrong market. You need to be playing gold and silver derivatives, be heavily leveraged, or get in the crypto market, or just go to Vegas or something. And I encourage you, whatever you make there, make sure you save at least half and buy some gold and silver. So Really, if you're buying silver and you've been holding it, and let's see, when did we make our big move? Our move was really in 2019 when we went from the mid $15, 13 in 2019, I think 13 range to what, 17, right in that range. And then 2020 was the year that silver just shot right up through the roof, and we broke that 20 and kept it and held ground. And quite frankly, we've been holding this mid-20s for how many months now? So I like that. There's good security behind that. We've held a good, really good base level. I mean, we're not in the $12 and $15 range, folks. We're not in the sub-$20 range. So for people that are crying that silver hasn't done anything or whining about it, just calm down, relax. Again, this is not a get-rich-quick thing. This is about preservation of wealth and making money. You'll do both. Just relax, buy the dips when you can. Meanwhile, and again, we'll see this take off. But with silver, there's a $28 resistance level. Don't ask me why, where, or how. Probably has something to do with all the banks that are short, like the London banks and the CME, or anybody that's in big short positions, the big corporations or the people that are running the show. If they're in big short positions, ETFs, whoever it is, I think that's why silver has been so low. It shot up to this mid-20s range. It's scared the living shit out of all these major short positions and all these paper derivatives that are trying to turn that paper back into real silver. And as far as JP Morgan goes, JP hasn't had a short position in silver in quite some time, my understanding. For those people out there that keep screaming about JP, stop whining about JP. They're no longer in a short position. Again, from what I've read, they exited that short silver position, and JP is now in a long position with physical. So really, in some weird way, yeah, the JP are big scumbags in my opinion when it comes to manipulation. But they're in the manipulation on the opposite trade right now, which is really good for you, kind of. I mean, if they're sitting with a bunch of physical, I don't know if it's good anytime anyone manipulates the market, but they are no longer the big short position out there. I think there's some other ones. And like I said, the reason that silver's been staying in this range is I believe they're just trying to purposely keep it in this range, because once it's blown through 30, they've lost control of it. Those short positions are screwed. So that's my feeling. I feel the price of silver is being artificially kept at this level right here to benefit people that could lose tons and tons and tons of money, or entities that could lose tons of money. That's my opinion. Well, let's move along to ZH here. See what kind of articles are on ZH. This was kind of cool. If you read ZH every day, the couple articles I liked were the no 90-year-old ever complained about being too healthy. One of the things, well, what has health got to do with gold and silver? Well, listen. If you're collecting gold and silver to hold for your future, to kind of wealth preservation. What is wealth preservation? Wealth preservation is all about the future. Well, if you're doing that, then I encourage you to stay healthy, eat well, get some exercise, cardiovascular activity, take care of yourself. You got health issues, get them taken care of quick. Don't wait. Because that's the whole point of your stacking silver and gold, is that you're going to be healthy enough to enjoy that money, enjoy the fact that you did preserve your wealth, and you're not living on a welfare check, and you're not living on a Social Security check, which won't buy jack shit by the time you get it. So anyways, that's my opinion. That's why you should be healthy, and that's why that's a good article, in my opinion. More bad news, really, which is good news for precious metal people. Biden unveils a $6 trillion budget. Trillion, folks. I don't even know what a trillion is anymore. If you stacked it, a trillion $1 bills, would it make it to Mars? Probably and back, more than likely. But $6 trillion will raise federal spending to the highest post-World War II level. Where are they going to get the fucking money? That's the question. And it's just ridiculous, folks. But meanwhile, they're going to just blow the dollar out. Inflation's going to just go crazy at some point. The Chinese are already trying to, the communist Chinese are already trying to control inflation by controlling the prices of assets. So like iron or something like that. So the Chinese government stepped in because iron prices were going crazy. Speculators are buying iron. So that's what communist governments do. But do not put it past our government to do the same thing. It wouldn't surprise me that Western governments, so-called democracies, which have really become free-for-all Marxism. Anyways, I won't go there. But in a in a democracy, you don't set prices, you don't fix prices, and I kind of think that that may be a possibility. If we see inflation just go insane, whether it's food, gas, or whatever it is, you could see this administration try to step in and put limits on it. Just my opinion, but of course it won't work because it just won't work. There's too much money behind it. But anyways, Biden's going to spend $6 trillion that we don't have. Where's that going to come from? It's going to come from taxpayers, and it's going to come from the printing presses. Again, this is all good for precious metals. JP Morgan sees 4 scenarios ahead on the infrastructure. I think people are being optimistic on infrastructure. I think that the system is economically going to collapse before we even get to fixing this infrastructure. However, it would be nice to see that if they can print some additional money, that they put some into the infrastructure because it's falling apart. Got to be nothing worse and more dystopian and more like a Mad Max film than if the whole economic system collapses and our infrastructure is terrible. I mean, it doesn't get worse than that. No less, whatever. Top U.S.-China trade negotiators hold a constructive first call. Lots of stuff in here, not too much on precious metals except for Peter Schiff's The Lull Before the Storm. Again, I'm on the same page with Peter on a lot of things except for unallocated accounts, which you guys, some people are really pissed with Peter Schiff because he did back unallocated accounts with Perth Mint. But you know what? He had his reasons, and I don't think he was too wrong on that. But I disagree with Schiff, and I very seldom ever disagree with him as far as having anyone hold your gold. I'm completely against it. I am all about not having that third-party risk, and I would think a guy like Peter would know better. But again, he has his faith in the Perth Mint. No less. Good article here by Schiff, The Lull Before the Storm. I'm going to kind of click on it right here, and a few quotes here. We'll talk about it. Over the last several months, gold and silver have faced strong tailwinds due to market expectations that the Fed would tighten monetary policy sooner rather than later. Blah, blah, blah. All right. And it's a video cast right here. It is on Zero Hedge, The Lull Before the Storm. I guess you can see it via shiftgold.com as well. It's been a long, hard grind to get back to $1,900 an ounce. I disagree, Peter. It's not been a long, hard grind. I mean, listen, I guess in our day and age of people that want instant gratification, yes, 6 months to a year has been a long, hard grind. But come on, give me a break. Really, I'm pleased with where we're at. It's not a long grind. It's the way markets should be, slowly grinding their way up. A lot of investors have been frustrated that the yellow metal hasn't made a bigger move faster. Peter said he would think those days of frustrations will soon come to an end. I'm going to just kind of quote a few things here. Peter says, I think vindication is around the corner because I think a major move up in both the price of gold and silver is imminent. And I feel the same way that Peter does right here. And in fact, to the extent that people still have cash on the sideline, they're yet to commit to a market. I would not wait. I would suggest that everybody have a full position. So whatever you feel your allocation is going to be physical. So what Peter's basically saying is that kind of same thing I've been saying for a while. You know, buy at these levels. That one day you're going to look at $2,000 gold and you're going to say, God, I remember when gold was 2,000. Just like you're saying right now, if you're old enough, I remember when gold was 1,000. And if you're even old enough, you remember when gold used to be $250 an ounce, 100. And some of you remember when gold was 40 and 50. So listen, that's what you're going to say about $2,000 gold one day. You're going to say that about $30 and $40 silver. Gosh, I remember when silver was 30 bucks. I should have bought a ton of it. Peter's just kind of reminding everybody that that's true. He also talks about premiums on bars and coins will go much higher as the demand spikes. I would agree with that as well. And, you know, we've been talking about that. That is my specialty. I think I even know physical demand better than Peter does as far as retail gold and silver markets. I'm all been on the front lines since 1977, buying and selling this stuff. So I absolutely believe that premiums are going to go a bit higher. However, I think they may soften up once these large short positions, wherever these large short positions that exist right now that are sucking up all the physical silver. And, you know, again, we have problems with the physical supply market too because we had closures for all of 2020. So mine supply, secondary scrap supply was down. All that, and minting was down. So on top, that's just exasperated the whole issue. We had a shortage before the virus, and we have even a worse shortage now. And we have major banks or entities scrambling to buy physical. Okay, so everyone's competing for a very little bit of product that's out there in refined form. And that's the issue we got there. And Peter's right about that. I agree. The Fed couldn't, Peter reiterated that he thinks that central bankers are wrong to think price inflation won't become a big problem. And they're absolutely wrong. We'll go into that. The Fed couldn't have been more wrong if it did intentionally. In fact, maybe the Fed intentionally misled the public. Interesting thought, I think, on Peter's part. They were so worried about the mortgage problem that they lied and pretended it was contained. The same thing is probably happening now with inflation. And we know that they can't contain inflation. Good article here written by Peter, and here a couple other things. It seems that everything has been in a bubble except for gold. Why is that? Good question there, Pete, and let's see what he says. Gold is the money by which everything is overpriced. No argument there, sir. The reason that gold is not in a bubble is because everything else is in a bubble in terms of gold. Gold is a stable store of value. Gold is real money. It's safe, and it's a safe haven. And during bubbles and manias, everything wants to buy the risk assets. I suspect all of those bubbles to pop, the air to come out, and where's that money going to go? Expect it to deflate, and with the dollar price going down, but with the dollar price, with gold price going up. That's how all these bubbles are going to pop. So Peter feels that once these bubbles pop, that they're going to be looking for safe havens like gold, and probably cryptos at some point. But boy, cryptos really got trashed the last couple of weeks. And again, trashed in price and trashed by governments, trashed by bankers, which I said was going to happen for a long time. Governments and bankers hate competition. So cryptos have been trashed pretty readily. Mom and pop are probably not going to get into cryptos anytime soon. Neither is grandma or a lot of people. I think that market's going to slow down quite a bit and be it's going to just mostly be industry people and crypto lovers, in my opinion. But the money will flow there. When the shit hits the fan, the money's going to go to any place that people feel safe with. And for some reason, people do feel safe with cryptos. Peter says he thinks that we're on a cusp of an explosive leg up for gold and silver. Yeah, I kind of did a little video about that yesterday. I felt the same way as far as the gold to silver ratio goes, that chart, and the historic chart for gold and silver. I mean, we look like we're in the next leg up for an explosive move upwards. Right now, people are like a deer in the headlights. They don't really know what's going on. They're still paying attention to the Fed telling them not to worry. Before the mainstream figures out what they need to worry about, you need to front run that. And Pete's right, exactly. The shit's going to hit the fan, folks. And, you know, there's an old saying that a broken clock is right at least twice a day or something like that. Did I screw that up? No, twice a day. Yeah, twice a day. And you know, you can accuse Peter Schiff of saying that. You can accuse even myself. You know, for years since I've been expecting this whole economic system to just like crash since 2008 because they never fixed it in 2008. They didn't fix anything. They band-aided it. They just band-aided the whole deal up. And I always expected at some point we were going to see these band-aids just pop off, and we haven't. Which really goes to show you more than a clock being right twice a day is that never underestimate the power of people that can endlessly print money, and that's exactly what we've going on here. I've underestimated central bankers and government for a long time, and I'm still probably underestimating them to some degree, but never underestimate the guy that owns the printing press. Let's move along to what I talked about earlier, the Great Reset. I keep hearing the Great Reset when people come in my store. And let's see, the Great Reset. The Great Reset. I'm going to type it into my browser here. And there we go. The Great Reset. How many different things come up here on the Great Reset? Well, let's take a look at the news side of it. I like DuckDuckGo, by the way, better than Google for sure. What is the Great Reset? All kinds of articles that explain what the Great Reset is. I've had people come in my store talking about the Great Reset. You know, I've heard some fantastical tales about Great Resets, and then I've heard stuff that seems more in line with what it really is. I can't go into any details of either the extreme on either side of what the Great Reset is supposed to be. But what I did take a look at is I did a Google or a DuckDuckGo. I read some articles here, and I said, you know what, let me just go to Wiki and see what the Great Reset really is supposed to be. Well, the Great Reset is the name of the 50th anniversary meeting of the World Economic Forum, WEF, held in June 2020. Now, they've been running these for quite some time. It brings together high-profile business and political leaders. This one convened by Charles, Prince of Wales, WEF. And basically, it's these, oh gosh, here we go, conspiracy theories down here too as well. And we'll get into that in a moment. Basically, The reset is connecting. It's about connecting both in-person and online global leaders, and they were talking about mostly about global warming and the reset. Taking advantage of this, they're talking about taking advantage of this virus and taking advantage of the bad economic times to get their plans put into force. This includes, like green plans to get rid of carbon fuels, plans to go completely solar. Now, I'm all for this, but when you hand that kind of power to these kind of people, they're not doing it. Trust me. Anybody that went to the Economic Forum, the WEF, the Great Reset, including Charles, Prince of Wales, they're not in this for you or me. They're in this for themselves and their buddies, about getting rich. This is about getting rich for them. This is not about making the world a better place. These meetings aren't really. It's about, making the world the way they want the world. That's what it's really about. Let's see here. I did see something interesting. QAnon mentioned down here. According to New York Times and BBC Guardian, baseless conspiracies spread by American far-right groups linked to QAnon surged at the onset of the Great Reset Forum and increased in fervor as such U.S. President Joe Biden and incorporated ideas based on the reset in their speeches. Well, I'd have to agree that QAnon and a lot of that stuff, that's just crazy nonsense, some of the stuff I've read about the reset, what the plans are on the reset. However, what the reset really is, it is about a group of elite bankers, movie stars, politicians, billionaires, this group of elite people that think they know how to run the world better than anyone else, and it is their goal to make it happen. That's what the Great Reset is. Now, is the Great Reset going to happen because of these people? Unlikely. You got to remember, they only have the power that we as individuals give them. And the point there is, don't give them the power. And who is the WEF, the World Economic Forum? Well, again, we kind of know who they are. If you want to, just Google them. But this is what the Great Reset thing has been all about. It's a bunch of nonsense. As I explained it, these are economic forums that have been happening for decades now, where a bunch of elite, and you know what? Some of their ideas and some of the things that they come up with do get incorporated into laws, legislation, rules, into the mainstream narrative, into the corporate narrative, and it seems to be more and more so. So maybe maybe there's some credence behind a Great Reset. But again, the control is not up to these elitists. Ultimately, it is up to us. So, put up the good fight. That's my opinion. And how do you do that? Well, you don't go for a cashless society. You don't go all in for what the CCP calls the social contract or something like that, and social credit system. That's all dangerous stuff. And this is all the kind of stuff that people like this would like to see happen. The World Economic Forum, the Great Reset. Again, folks, they're not in it to. They make it look like Sustainable Development Impact Summit. They make it look like they're really trying to protect the earth. They're trying to protect the economy and all this, but it's not. It's about them running the world the way they want to. That's the best thing I can come up with as far as the Great Economic Reset. Now, as far as what is possibly going to happen when it comes to gold is, I read, this is in gata.org, Tom Longo, I hope I pronounced that right, Basel III and the new role for gold. This is the potential economic reset that I really didn't think about but could possibly be true. Imagine all the central banks out there that hold gold. The U.S. Central, well, I hope we still have gold in the United States, but you got London, you got the Chinese, you got the Russians, you got Brazilians, you got Germany, you got all these major countries that all have gold. And all these gold reserves are figured at what? Price per ounce. I kind of don't remember, but I think they're priced at some ridiculously low price per ounce, like 40 or 50 bucks an ounce, or maybe it might be higher than that. And quite frankly, I should have looked before I started talking about this, but I know that the price of gold that central banks own, and why do central banks own gold? Well, it's the get out of town quick kind of thing. When their fiat fails, they have that to back everything up. or they had that to back up the fiat somehow. But what they're talking about here, which is really interesting, is that with this Basel III thing coming up, perhaps it's possible that countries are talking about resetting the official price of gold. So if the official price of gold in the United States, and I'm making this up, I don't know what the real number is 45 or 65 bucks per ounce. What if they reset the official price of gold, the gold that they're holding, the gold that they're stacking to back up their fiat? What if they reprice it at $2,000 an ounce? What if they reprice it at $5,000 an ounce? Well, that's like magical accounting. Now all of a sudden they have completely reversed everything. Now their gold reserves are worth billions or whatever it may be, and the debt they owe is worth quite a bit less. I think that there's some kind of finagling that can be done like this, and that could be considered a reset, in my opinion, as far as a reset of the dollar, a reset of the economic situation. So I like that idea. Why not reset the price of gold? If anyone got any ideas why that would be a bad idea or why that would be a good idea. Now, I'm not talking about resetting the gold for all of us, the price of gold for all of us, but resetting the official gold price. And what I think that would do on a private market, if they reset the official gold price to $2,000, I think the private prices would go up even substantially higher. The prices that people pay. Again, remember, the official prices that these countries list their gold at are substantially lower than what real world prices are. So, maybe they can just reset their economic system by repricing their gold. Good article talks about this. I won't read it all, but it's in gata.org. And this is why you need to read gata.org, because they'll tell you who the manipulators are, how they manipulate stuff. Again, make sure you have gata.org on your bookmark bar. Very important you be reading this once a week, especially if you're a gold and silver stacker. Great article here, Basel III and the new role for gold. Highly recommend you read it, and that's kind of where I think that what the real reset is, in my opinion. Let's take a look at yesterday's video, and I got it out on time. Sorry about the day before, man. It took us forever to render that video. Use the camera, the new Coral camera. This is down in Port of Miami, which is about 30 miles south of me, but it was so cool. That's why I wanted to show it to you. If you take a look here, all kinds of cool fish and coral that you don't really see. Again, this is at Port of Miami. Yesterday's show, let's take a look and answer a few questions here. I'm going to hit the sort by newest comment. Gold has gone up almost every day this month. Silver not breaking $30 by now. It's shady as fuck. So I said it for you. Sorry about that. Yeah, I would agree, but I think it's, as I said, I think it's just these huge short positions trying to get rid of that paper and fill it with real metal. That's my opinion. At some point, though, it's just going to bust through it, and that those positions are going to either be filled or screwed. And you're right, they can't suppress it forever. Thanks for watching, Guy Dave. I really appreciate it. Hi, Linda. How you doing? Yeah, the fish were really cool. The colors were cool on the fish today. If you take a look at this video. And by the way, this is a video any of you can watch. It's the Coral Cam, live Coral Cam down in Miami. Very cool, Linda. Mark Peters says over half our nation is blind, so government won't have any trouble getting them to go digital. Again, as I said, the worst thing that we can do, the real great reset, is if they automatically stuck us on a cashless society. It would be horrible. It would be horrific. That's dystopian. That's like George Orwell rolling in his grave if he knew that was going to happen. I'll be rolling with him, I'm sure. Groovy Jones says corporate financial media aren't clueless. Their business models get paid by financial industry. They have to treat their customers a certain way for them to keep coming back. Wow, I like that. That's a really sane answer. So thanks, Groovy Jones. You're right. Well, they have advertisers they need to answer to, and they have customers they need to come back. So they have to kind of figure out how to get these people to come back, but they are clueless, sir. When it comes to reporting, I don't know about equity markets and bonds and that market because I really don't watch CNBC. I was a subscriber to Wall Street Journal for 2 decades, and I was a constant commenter on their forums as well. But as far as Wall Street Journal, CNBC, Forbes, all these corporate news plates, they don't know shit from Shinola when it comes to gold and silver. They really don't. Even their best tries get it horribly wrong. I mean, the best people I've seen talk about gold and silver on any of the news channels was CNBC with Peter Schiff. And Peter Schiff is not the world's leading expert in precious metals, bars and coins and physical metals, but he's really, really smarter than anyone that CNBC, MSNBC, Forbes, and Wall Street Journal has combined. So, yeah, that's really about it. I would never listen. If you listen to Wall Street Journal, Forbes, CNBC, Fox Business, any of these corporate news stations for advice on precious metals, you're going to go broke for sure. I don't know what this is. Justice, man, proof of service. I saw. Let me go down here. As for bartering, 90%. I mentioned yesterday that a lot of people think that, well, I need to buy 90% because I'm going to have to barter with my neighbor, or I'm going to have to buy food with it. No, that's not true, as I mentioned yesterday. Even in Germany's worst hyperinflationary period, people that had diamonds, gold, silver, whatever it may be, they took those items down, they exchanged them for a wheelbarrow full of marks, then they would quickly take those marks and go buy the product they needed. What they weren't holding on to was the currency because it was being deflated daily. Cost of product was just way, way more. So you didn't want to go sell too much gold because you don't want to hang on to too many German marks. You wanted to get rid of them as soon as you got them. But did people take their gold down to the local supermarket or the local... Now remember, gold coins were made out of gold and silver back then, but did they take gold bars or diamonds and barter stuff with the local... butcher or the local bread man? No, they didn't. They traded that stuff for more German marks, and then they went and bought more product from the butcher, from the bread man, who then did the same thing, quickly got rid of those marks as well, turned them into gold, or turned them into product before they were devalued as well. Boy, that was long. So no, I think anyone that tells you need to buy 90% or any kind of product so you can trade for food is being either ridiculously stupid or dishonest with you just to sell you that product. Hey, Manoy, what's up? For sure, total control crazed elites who invested billions improving the grid steadily. Man, that's exactly what I was just talking about, sir, with the World Economic Forum and the supposed great reset they're looking forward to. No reset's going to happen, folks, unless we allow it to happen. You got to remember, we really run the world. They don't. We've given them the illusion they do, and they've given us the illusion that they do, but no, they don't. Charles Dumont, hi Brian, all due respect, you and I have never lived through a real depression. That is true, sir. But realizing bartering has gone on since the beginning of civilization. I'm 70 years old. Remember Billy when has scored times. Absolutely true, sir. Exactly kind of what I just went into. So I won't repeat myself, but I agree with you 100%. But as far as trading it directly for food or trading it, no, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. So don't buy your gold and silver based on the idea that you're going to trade it with your local butcher. Just, again, hey, maybe your local butcher likes gold and silver, but is the whole country going to do that? No. More than likely, you'd get robbed of your gold and silver before you got too much into spending it or trading it in that kind of environment. If the world was that bad, the U.S. digital dollar has been ready for distribution for over a year now. That frightens me, sir. I don't want to hear that, Michael, but maybe it's true. Redeem Patriot, you're getting good at spending your coin. It makes me dizzy, just like our government. There's some people that think my coin's not real, but here, you can hear it air spin. Ready? Nah, I guess you couldn't hear it, but this coin is kind of weird. It's been hitting a lot of bulls lately. I'm going to try maybe this other coin here. I got a brand new one that someone gave me, a bear and a bull coin. But again, I hate to nix it if it's working well. Or I'm a little superstitious, I'm sorry. I like 90% silver, says Savoy. I agree with you 100%. Meanwhile, Nathan, hi, thanks for watching. Marcus, Marcus mentioned something that I may want to give Reddit crowd more credit, and I do, sir. I didn't mean not to yesterday. What I was saying is that I felt like that maybe these are silver squeezes that were advertised, like on May 1st and a new one coming up, mainstream corporate media and a lot of people blew them way out of proportion. So when the price of silver didn't double the next day because of that, a lot of people said, aha, see, I told you you're a bunch of nuts. That's what I'm concerned about. I do love the whole silver squeeze Reddit movement. Love it to pieces. Love the billboards. So if I came across that way, that's not how I feel. Well, let's move along to best deals out there. I'm going to make this one real short. Oh, tomorrow's show. I'm going to go over tomorrow's video. I'm going to go over dealer secrets. How do you like that? I'm going to call it dealer secrets. I'm going to go over all wholesale spread prices, exactly what your local dealer or APMEX or JM or SD Bullion and all these guys are probably buying their gold for if they have to go out and buy it from other dealers or off the market. So I'm going to give you all of those secret prices and details tomorrow. But meanwhile, the best I can tell you today is do not be paying more than $100 per ounce premium for any gold products. If you're paying more than $100, and quite frankly, I think if you're paying more than $85 an ounce for any gold products, you're paying too much. We have gold bars available for $85 over spot or less, and some other different products that are similarly priced and way better deals. And again, if you're spending more than $85, I think you're spending too much for gold. Same thing with silver. If you're spending more than, I'm going to have to go to, if you're spending more than $6 an ounce, you're probably spending too much on silver right now as well. But silver is getting a little harder to source. 90% prices have come down a little bit too by 50 cents an ounce, but I'll go over all that stuff tomorrow. Again, try not to spend more than $5 an ounce premium on silver. If you have to spend $6, yeah, that's okay, I guess, but no more than $5 if possible. All in for a good recognizable product. And as I always say, I will beat the online guys at Max, JM Bullion, SD Bullion. However, I am a local brick and mortar in South Florida. So if you don't live in South Florida and you can't physically come see me between 10 and 4 Mondays through Fridays, I can't sell bullion to you. So if you call me up, say, hey Brian, can you ship me stuff? I'm sorry, man, I can't. I'm not set up to do it. Maybe someday I will be. So that brings my next question, or my next statement. Buy local. If you can't buy from me, buy local. Spend it in your town. Keep it in your town. Why do you want to do that? Because jobs, businesses, community, keeping that money local is so important, especially in these times. That's not what the boys in the World Economic Forum, what the elites want you to do. They want you to send your money off to these major corporations, make them richer. But really, keep that money in your town. You know, instead of buying something off Amazon, try buying something local. You know, try going to a local store, even if you pay a little bit more money. It's really important, especially in these times. Well, that's really about it, folks. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. Call me anytime at 954-493-8811 between the hours of 10 and 4, Mondays through Fridays. Happy to help you out with anything that you may need as far as precious metals go. And don't forget, I do other things too as well. I do jewelry, artwork, antiques, watches, collectibles, what else? Paper money, rare coins. Anyways, you know that. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope you have a good day, and talk to you tomorrow for the weekend update, or weekend wrap-up, I should say. Hey, thanks again.